Okay, we're ready. Here we go. You can tell we're ready. There's a lot of buzzing behind the ropes here. Okay. Good morning. This is a meeting of the Los Angeles City Council on Wednesday, July 19th. Let's start with calling the roll.
Bertson-Chick, Fuhrer, Galanter, Gober, Hernandez, Holden, Viscosi, Pacheco, Padilla, Ridley Thomas, Schwartz, Walters, Ferraro, 12 members present, and a quorum, Madam President.
Thank you. We are being viewed on Channel 35. We are available on council phone. We meet 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at, as you can see, not quite 10 o'clock. And that's where we are. So let's proceed through the agenda.
Approval of the minutes.
Without objection, the minutes are approved.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
And likewise, the commendatory resolutions.
Before getting to the regular agenda, there are several items that request to be continued. Item number 2, a request that that matter be continued till August 9th. That's item number 2.
Any problem with that? That's continued till August 9th.
Items number 3 through 5, a request that those matters be continued till July 26th.
Any problem with those? Those are continued to July 26th.
Item number 6 is a receive and file matter. This matter was previously acted on by council on July 5th. A motion was adopted to assert jurisdiction, and the BZA decision was modified at that time. So item number 6 should be received and filed.
All right. Do we need to open the roll on that? All right. In that case, item 6 is received and filed.
Item number 21, council has acted on this matter on July 14th, so this matter should also be received and filed. Item number 21.
Certainly should be. So let's receive and file item 21.
On the regular agenda, item number 7 is a CNED report recommendation regarding the appointment of Michael Kay to the Board of Convention Center.
Mr. Kay, are you here? Just come up to the table. Okay. Any council members have anything to say on this item? In that case, Mr. Wax moves approval. Open the roll.
Yep.
Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
You're approved.
Terrific.
Thank you very
Why
much.
should be this easy?
Thank you for your assistance. Forthwith on that one, please.
Item number 8 on the regular agenda is also a commission appointment. There's a Planning and Land Use Management Committee report recommendation regarding the appointment of Darrell Walker to the City Planning Commission.
Mr. Walker, welcome. Ms. Goldberg wishes to be heard. Good morning.
Yes, I'm actually overjoyed to see someone from Council District 10 because the commission, for those of you who haven't kept track, will be composed of 9 members. 3 from District 11, 2 from District 4, 1 from District 5, 1 from District 3, 1 from District 6. What do we notice about this list? Except for this gentleman, who I am overjoyed and will move his immediate adoption, except for this gentleman, you must live either west of La Brea or in the valley to get on the Citywide Planning Commission. Now, the charter itself spoke to this and said that there should be an attempt made to have some representation throughout the city. Obviously, just saying it ought to happen rather than requiring it to happen has not been successful, except in the case of the current candidate here. So on your shoulders, sir, rests the rest of the city. And we're thrilled that you're willing to take that on. I'm disappointed, and I will say so publicly, that you will be the only representative from districts 8, 9, 10, 7, 11, 12, 13, and 1. And 15, excuse me, and 1. Now that's really quite astonishing on a 9-member panel.
Mrs. Walters.
Well, I'm equally delighted to see somebody in districts other than representing a district other than those traditionally represented. There seems to be somehow the notion here that only the affluent communities are interested in good planning. And in minority communities, you can readily see just a quick looking around lets you know that there's been an absence of good planning or attention to planning in those districts, and mine in particular, District 9. I'm interested in what you see as good planning and your interest in serving on this planning commission.
Sure. First of all, thank you for the endorsement, however derived. In terms of planning, I'm born and raised here in Los Angeles, actually grew up in your district, Councilwoman. And
Well, we'll welcome you back.
thank you. One of the things that I do kind of lament is the loss of the feeling of neighborhood that I recall growing up, both in terms of both geographic design, but also just in terms of spirit and that kind of atmosphere. At the same time, I'm also aware of the need to move forward and the need to create a strong tax base and economic base. And so there is, to some extent, a balancing act. But I don't think the two are necessarily opposed to each other. And I happen to live now in a neighborhood that I'm very proud of, Lafayette Square, where I think is one of the unique areas in the city in terms of residential areas where you still have that kind of old-fashioned feeling of neighbor-to-neighbor relationships and a sense of community. So I hope to bring a little bit of that perspective to the commission and look forward to serving should I be approved today.
Thank you for that response. One of the things that I have struggled mightily with in my district, and it's prevalent in the 10th district as well as the 8th and the 15th, and that's the proliferation of liquor stores. Now, after the civil unrest in '92, when some of those liquor stores were burned out, and as they tried to come back, some members of the Planning Commission were more sympathetic to business. And the same thing goes for motels that are used for prostitution. And now we're struggling with some motels on Skid Row. And there's some people who feel more sensitive to the needs of business people than they do for the needs of the neighborhoods. Now, you said your first statement was talking about the needs of the neighborhood. And I would hope that your concerns for neighborhood feeling and for keeping a neighborhood whole and not putting influences there that will impact on that will extend to districts other than, in neighborhoods other than the one in which you live. I remember years ago, long before I was on the council, right there at St. Charles and Crenshaw, that apartment building, somebody came in and bought it and tried to turn it into a motel and had a big banner up, adult movies. And your Lafayette Square Association went to work very quickly and got that taken care of. And it's that kind of thing that we have to be on guard against in all neighborhoods. And so I hope that you will address those issues and be very sensitive to those issues as they come before you.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Ms. Misikowski.
Thank you, Madam President. Planning and Land Use Management Committee was happy to recommend Mr. Walker. In addition, I think Ms. Goldberg asked last week whether or not there was balance and concern on the Commission just providing a perspective of the motion picture industry, which is so important in this town economically, and that is actually the background that Mr. Walker provides, as well as all the other things people have said about how appropriate he is. So we will now have, I think for the first time, a member on the Planning Commission who has that interest and background. And members of the council, where he also comes from, is he had served as a mayor's appointee to the Los Angeles Homeless Services Agency. Excuse me. No, he was on the Housing Authority. So he has had some experience in homelessness and in the issue of needing affordable housing. So as a consequence of that, I think he really brings a track record of involvement in community on some other things that are going to be very, very important on the Planning Commission. And so the Planning Committee was very happy to make a recommendation for this appointee.
Mr. Burnson.
Caught me with my mouth full. First of all, let me just say that I had the opportunity and the pleasure of interviewing this candidate. I found him to be qualified. I think that it's important that he does represent, he represents the entire city actually, but to be from the area where there appears to have been a lack of representation in the past, and that's given us an opportunity now to have somebody from that area with a larger commission. And I look forward to working with him. I think he's very qualified and do a good job. The committee unanimously approved him, and I would urge his approval and confirmation. And good luck to you.
Thank you.
We've never had this many people want to talk about an appointment. Sit tight. We have some more. Mr. Ridley Thomas.
That's enough, Ridley.
Thank you, Madam President and Mr. Burnson, the inimitable planning expert in the city of Los Angeles. I want to reinforce comments made by both council members Goldberg and Walters. It would seem to me that when the opportunity presents itself, as is the case with a new charter, we move from a 5-member planning commission to a 9-member planning commission. The opportunity to make for a more representative planning commission was available but not taken advantage of. Now, from time to time over the past 7 years, this point has been made over and over again. Ms. Walters has made it, Ms. Goldberg has made it, Mr. Hernandez has made it, Mr. Holden has made it, Mr. Savornich has made the point, and I just don't know why it is so difficult to have these commissions skewed in this way, and yet have the mayor and or his staff claim that they are being representative of the entirety of the city. And I think we should look upon ourselves with a degree of healthy self-criticism, because in more instances than not, we have confirmed those commission nominations and or recommendations. It is a continued insult and slap in the face of people who live, work, and contribute to this city not to be represented on these commissions in a balanced, fair-minded way. And this mayor has insisted on this kind of chauvinistic way of running the commission program, the appointees, for the balance of the time that he's been here. And it's high time that we say it clearly, we say it passionately or dispassionately, as the case may be. But there are consequences to excluding people from the governance of this city at any level.
Mr. Wax.
Welcome to City Hall, Mr. Walker. I was very excited when you mentioned on your own the value you place on building strong neighborhoods and the importance of that to the city. It's something that is very dear to me. I'm first very grateful that someone with your resume, as I've read it, would be willing to spend the time that it takes to really be a good planning commissioner. It's an enormously time-consuming job. My hope is that, and the tendency is in being on the Planning Commission, that you can literally become a full-time job just responding to the cases that come before you. And that deprives us sometimes of the proactive thinking that can come from people to recommend and propose broader changes that can build strong neighborhoods. And I hope that you can somehow find that balance between sitting there and going through all those cases and devoting some time to actually coming forth with proposals that could further your ideas on building neighborhoods. The commission often needs that, and it's you've got so much to do in your life, and you're sitting there with all those meetings and doing your homework on those cases, and I've watched that happen, and I think we lose sometimes some of the real strengths that people can offer. So I would hope that as you start this, you might be able to somehow balance the time you will put in that with the job of evaluating cases before you and plans before you, and the ability to perhaps come up with some ideas. And I would love to sit down and talk to you about those, because I think that's exactly what this city needs, and I welcome the fact that there's someone there who thinks in that way, and welcome your participation.
I would welcome that, too. And I should say that one of the features of this appointment that was attractive to me was that it's coming at a time when we are establishing area commissions. And the hope is my hope, and I gather the hope of those involved with the charter reforms, is that will in some way free up the Planning Commission to do some of the things that you just said, to be a little bit more visionary and proactive in design concepts and philosophies, rather than simply case to case to case.
Working with neighborhood councils. This is great, and I'm really looking forward to your participation.
One more, Mr. Hernandez.
Members of the council, I also want to rise to support Mr. Walker in his nomination to the commission. And I think that, as Mr. Wax said, welcome to City Hall. One, I hope you weren't asked to sign the letter of resignation before you accepted your nomination, because that has been known to happen at City Hall. But I think what you're hearing today, did you have to sign a letter of resignation?
I've not been asked to sign anything.
Okay. No, they all aren't asked. They all aren't asked, only some. But you know, I'm known for my charts, and I took data, GIS information, I put it on citywide maps, and the reality is, what everybody's talking about is that the communities of color, the communities that have poverty in the city of Los Angeles, the communities whose zoning has not been dealt with in a fair manner in terms of the quality of life, and the communities with the most density in this city, who have the greatest proportion of youth growing up in poverty, which happens to be over half the landmass of the city of Los Angeles, are the communities that don't have a representative on the board that you're going to sit on. That is a fact. And I don't think that's just today. I think that's a historic fact. To me, there is no reason for 3 members to be from the 11th Councilmatic District. And it has nothing to do with the boundaries of the 11th. It has to do with the wealth. It has to do with the stability. It has to do with all the zoning overlays that exist there that protect those communities that don't exist in other communities. And what we're asking for is who's the voice of all these people. And that's a tremendous burden. But you need to understand that that's what the quality of life is in the city of Los Angeles. And that's why I believe we have haves and have-nots. That's why I believe we bus our children. And we have areas with schools and areas without schools. Clearly, a history of separation in this city. And so now what we're asking from you is to be a voice for the communities that don't have that representation. And there'll be times when you need to let us know when you feel something is wrong. When you feel that one community, for some reason, gets preference in land use decisions, and another community doesn't get the same kind of consideration when those issues come before you. And because of your background, because of your history, and because of where you grew up, I think that you understand these issues. And I just appreciate you sitting on that board. It's not going to be an easy trail to trudge.
Well, I spoke too soon. Now we have 2 more council members who want to speak. Mrs. Chick.
Yes, well, I want to, again, start out, as others have, reassuring you that you have my vote and support, and I think you have a heavier than normal role of the typical good volunteer that comes forward to serve on commissions because you are taking on, keeping an extra watchful eye out for a very large area and many council members. But colleagues, I want to point out that it's not only the representatives of the districts that predominantly have our populations of color, our populations of poverty, our denser geographical areas. I think we all should, and I'll speak for myself, care very much about equitable representation. And it's exactly why, for instance, as chair of Government Efficiency Committee, I sent into the council for your deliberation the nominees for the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment Commission without recommendation because I had concerns about full geographic and other representation of our city. The voters and the writers of the charter, however, wisely kept in a variety of pieces that address balance of power. And so I also want to remind us, and I hope this doesn't happen, because the point of creating area planning commissions was to bring the process closer to the public, to involve the public, to make it easier for residents and employers and employees to access the meetings and to play a role. But if the area planning commissions end up being skewed in their deliberations, end up not really representing the best interests of all the people that you will be speaking for on that commission, then the council will be very busy, I hope not, in reviewing those decisions, because that is still written into the charter, that there are a variety of ways that land use issues come to us from either the citywide commission or the area commissions, and then it will be here that all of the people of Los Angeles will have their voices heard. And it's also why, colleagues, we need to pay very close attention, all of us, to this process of creating neighborhood councils as we go forward, to make sure that at the most grassroots level that we have equitable and widespread participation and creation of councils representing equally all of the people of this city. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Holden, representing Council District 10.
Right. Welcome to the public sector.
Thank you, Councilman.
You being indoctrinated. I just want to ask you a couple of questions. Sony, that's based in Culver City, is that correct? Mm-hmm. Did they ever have any affiliation with Universal Studio? To your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge, other than specific, joint ventures on productions, motion pictures, or something like that.
I see.
But no ongoing.
I remember once, since you're going to be in land use and all.
Right now, I would just point out, right now, we're no longer based at Sony. We're at the Paramount lot, so we're in...
Back in the city.
Back in the city.
Oh, yeah, you're over there with Ferrara. Is it Goldberg? I don't know, one of the two. Sony. That's not a problem. I would just raise the question because I remember Universal Studios was the only one who didn't want to go for the benefit assessment district when it came to the Metro Rail station there. Everybody else was going to pay their share, but they were not. And, if you work for them, you can see what their mindset is all about. I had an association with them. You know how it is. That's what Mike has been talking about. Have and have-nots, rich get rich, and the poor stays poor. You can't get any poorer than poor. But I do want to congratulate you for accepting this appointment. We are dire in need of your experience, your training, your knowledge, and your commitment to serve the entire city. Even though you live in the 10th district, I would hope that you would do as your councilman does, that is represent everybody. That's me. And so I didn't get a jiggle from that one, did I? But I know you will be open-minded, and I know you'll do the right thing.
I will.
And I'm delighted that you've been selected, and certainly will vote for you. Once again, people have put a real burden on you saying you represent 5 districts. But that's okay. You have to be twice as good. You haven't forgotten that.
All right, now let's try to get him appointed. Open the roll on the confirmation, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Walker.
very
You
much.
are approved forthwith on that, and thank you for your service. It will indeed be a burden, but I hope you enjoy it. We have one more official, and then we have a presentation that's very important. So let's
Item
try
number
to do
9
our-
is the Planning and Land Use Management Committee report recommendation regarding the appointment of Scott Sue to the Central Area Planning Commission.
Mr. Sue, come up to the table. Okay. Council members? Comments? Speeches? Have we said it all? Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 eyes.
Mr. Sue, welcome aboard. You're
I
approved.
don't actually get to say good morning here.
Yes, you do get to say good morning, but we've already confirmed you. Don't talk us out of it.
Okay.
So you are approved. Thank you very much, and welcome to the city family. Yes, he does. He also lives in the 10th
you.
district. Carefully reported on the
He's a
agenda.
good man.
Forthwith on that item. All right, now, the chair recognizes Mr. Padilla for a very important presentation. And Mr. Gilpin, I apologize for keeping you waiting, but after all these years, another few minutes isn't too bad.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Colleagues, let me emphasize the words important presentation. We do a lot of presentations and ceremony around here, but rarely do we emphasize it with those words important, and I do believe this one in particular is. It's with some sadness that a lot of us will congratulate Mr. Bernard Gilpin, who is now going to be leaving the city. He's been here for 13 and a half years in our Public Works Department, helping a lot of us bring those projects to fruition in our districts. He began with the city in 1986, at the time as an inspector of public works and director of the Bureau of Contract Administration. And as we all know, the bigger the project gets, the more significant and crucial elements are always in those contracts. And in this capacity, Bernard has overseen all construction contracts in the city of Los Angeles. His resume and his highlights include the Hyperion Full Secondary Treatment Rehabilitation, the Convention Center expansion, the Central Library expansion, and the City Hall Rehabilitation Contract, some of the key elements to our great city. On a policy perspective, he's also impacted the city, and I think made the city a better place with his work on expanding the prevailing wage policies in the city of Los Angeles, as well as the MeBe-Weebie compliance record for the city. His resume is an impressive one, having done his undergraduate work at Howard University and graduate work at Syracuse University, two of the finest institutions in the country. And it's no surprise that he really is acknowledged as a man of true integrity and respect, and on occasion some humor as well. On a personal basis, I think he'd point to his proudest accomplishment being raising 4 children very successfully, Nicole, Brian, and the twins, Claire and Camille. And want to point out, I think it's particularly special and meaningful that his mother is here today, who's joined us from Virginia, and maybe she can stand up for an acknowledgement. Jean Gilpin, and maybe come forward. I think your son is going to need you in a minute, because what I'd like to do is now bring forward Bernard to say a few words, and colleagues, if you'd also like to add a few words, I think this is the most appropriate
Several
time.
colleagues who want to add a few words.
Thank you very much.
You don't get to talk yet. Mrs. Chicas first.
I just wanted to I think in telling a very quick story, I can explain a little bit more about Bernard and how I feel about him. He's been very much involved, colleagues, in helping us improve our whole contracting process, and played a very key role in Public Works on looking at pre-bidder qualification to enforce not only our very important policies like living wage, et cetera, and worker retention, but to make sure that we're contracting with really responsible companies, and he's helped us take that citywide. And just a couple of weeks ago, we were dealing with the issue, and Bernard very energetically and vehemently sought to find me to turn my view a little bit, to add some new information. And I thought, wow, he's still worrying about this and right in the middle of things. And then I found out that you had turned in your retirement and knew when you were leaving, and I thought, this guy is going to fight after he's gone about the things that he believes in and he thinks make this city better. So I want to thank you very much. You will be missed.
Mrs. Walters.
I just wanted to add my words of commendation to Mr. Gilpin. It's been great working with him. He's been one of the people that I've enjoyed working with. His answers were always straightforward. He would tell you what he could do, what he couldn't do, and what he found out after he did it. And I don't think you can ask for a whole lot more, and that it's done in an efficient manner. So I very much appreciate your work, Mr. Gilpin, and I hate to see you leave, but I congratulate you on your new position. And there's got to be something said for being 5 minutes away from work.
There's a lot to be said for that. Ms. Mizikowski.
I, too, I want to just rise and say it's with regrets, actually, that we are here today seeing this, but it's a very important day for you. But it's the important thing that you've provided, I think, is service and responsiveness. How often have we all gotten calls from our constituents saying, what's going out here? City crews are doing something, and it isn't necessarily city crews, it's our contract crews. But we call Bernard and we call his team and his staff, and they are right on the job, right, providing us an answer, providing the constituents an answer, and there isn't anything that's more important than that. And I think that has been the fundamental, really important thing that you've provided to my office and to the city and to our constituents, and for that I thank you.
Mr. Holden.
How you doing? Every time we had a major project that needed some support, Bernard was always there for us, the 10th District. And what I can hear today, that he was there for each and every one of you in your respective districts, which means he's a top guy, always on the job. And we hate to see you go. We're going to miss you. So on one side, I'm saying I hate to see you go. On the other side, I'm glad to say that my son, it's where you're going to be going to work over there in Pasadena. And be giving him all the support that they need right now. So congratulations. I know you'll do a good job. Best wishes. And you'll be around to work with another Holden, right? Very good.
Okay, my turn. And I would just like to add a word of thanks for the time you were so helpful in trying to straighten out the mess that women and minority-owned businesses were going through as we found them having to fill out the same forms over and over again for different departments, and we were finally able to coordinate that process, and you were very helpful in getting that done. And I'm sure that there's a whole lot of businesses that have no idea of the role you played in it, but it really will be helpful in the future, and you can feel good that among the lasting contributions that you've made is you've made life a little bit easier for a whole lot of businesses in the city of LA, and I really appreciate it, and I want to wish you well, and I'm sorry you're leaving. I think you have a hell of a nerve, but there you are. Now you can talk if you want.
And to conclude formally, on behalf of the City Council and the Mayor, we do have this resolution here for you, Bernard, to commend you for all your city service, your years of dedication to the city, and all the positive impact you're having on the city. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Now you can.
Okay, Bernard, you've been waiting years for this opportunity.
I'm almost speechless. I do want to thank each and every one of you for your support over those 13 or so years. I think actually I could not have done much of anything without the support of the council and also without the support of the staff. Whatever contributions I have made, I think are really attributable to my mother, and I have to really say that whatever I've done and whatever I am is truly a result of her character and her fortitude and her stamina. And I'm just extremely overwhelmed and pleased to have her with me today. I've thanked a lot of people over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and certainly it's gratifying to me to be able to thank the council for its support. I also have thanked my staff, and I would like to say to you that the men and women in the Bureau of Contract Administration actually have a very difficult task. We're called upon most often to walk a very tight rope, and that rope is somewhere between social and political correctness and technical correctness. It's not an easy task. I've been fortunate to lead a good group of people and to be able to recruit a good group of people, and I would only hope that the support that you've given me and the Bureau will continue in the future. There's some awfully good people there. In my travels in public service, I'm one of your general managers who's had the fortunate experience to work in other municipalities, and I move on to do that again. But I must say that the employees in the city of LA are, without doubt, the most professional and the most efficient and the best that I've ever worked with. I will miss them as I will miss you. And I would urge you in closing to please continue to support them. They have tough jobs, but they're great people and they work real hard. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, and best of luck.
Am I taking a picture of that?
Okay, next item.
Thank you.
Item number 37, a request by Councilmember Hernandez to continue that matter until July 25th. That's item number 37.
Members of the council, this is the item we discussed at length yesterday, and we sent our attorneys back to talk with the other guys' attorneys, and they've agreed to a week continuance. So we're going to continue this until Tuesday. Taking note that it was item 37 yesterday, and it was item 37 today. Okay. Next
Item number 1 is an item notice for public hearing.
We have no cards on this item. Is there anybody who wants to be heard? Anybody in the chamber want to be heard on item 1? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Council members? All right, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That is approved. Do we need a...
Items number 10 through 19 on the regular agenda are items for which public hearings have been held. 10 through 19.
Members of the council, any specials, 10 through 19?
Madam Chair, I don't have a special, but a correction on item 13.
Okay.
The department is no longer CDD, it's now Department of Disabilities. The departments didn't change. The placement of the office changed.
Okay, thank you. All right, so with that correction, item 13 is still on the list here. Any specials, 10 through 19? Seeing none, open the roll. Yes. Okay, all right, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Those are approved.
16.
Forthwith on
16.
16. Next item.
Items number 20 through 33, with the exception of 21, which has already been acted on, are items for which public hearings have not been held. That's items number 20 through 33, with the exception of 21.
I don't have any cards on those either. Is there anybody in the chamber who wants to be heard on any of those items? Could you please fill out a card? Somebody bring them a card. Which item is it that you want to be? Which item number? I'm sorry, I can't. 21? Okay, hold on.
21 has been acted on.
21
That
has
matters.
already been acted on. We had already dealt with that item previously, so we've received and filed this item because it was already done. Somebody go explain that to them. Okay. Anything else? 10 through, no, we did 10 through
20
19.
through 33, with the exception of 21.
Except for 21. Any specials? 32 special called by Mr. Holden. Anybody else? Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Those are approved. Next item.
Item number 35 on the continuation agenda is an item for which public hearing has been held.
Okay, item 35, Mr. Hernandez.
Madam Chair, the reason I rise is yesterday my math was off, and I thought I should admit that to everybody, because I did the square footage according to the lease, but I forgot to divide it by 12 one more time, because it's 12 months.
Well, that's a relief.
So the figure changed dramatically to $2.38 a square foot, which is still high, but more acceptable.
So, do you wish now to move approval?
again, I don't have a problem with the recommendation, but it is high. It's just, my understanding is Ms. Goldberg has been doing such a good job in Hollywood that her rents have gone skyrocketed, but it would cost the city approximately $300,000 to relocate what's there now. And so over the period of the 5 years, it makes a little more sense.
Okay, open the roll on item 35. Close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 eyes.
That's approved. Forthwith on item 35. Next.
Item number 36 on the continuation agenda is the item for which public hearing was not held.
All right, we don't have any cards on that. Anybody wish to be heard on item 36? Okay, the public hearing is closed. The matter is before us. Any council members? Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 eyes.
That's approved. Item 37, we've continued. We're back to item 32 then, right?
Item number 32, called special by Councilmember
Mr.
Holden.
Holden, are you still here?
I don't know where Mr. Holden is, but I explained that this is a request for report that's going to committee. There's no other action today before us.
Okay, well,
I think
hold
he's
on one
okay with
second.
it.
Where's Ms. Goldberg? Would you like to come do your reconsideration thing now while we see if Mr. Holden's coming back? So we're going to suspend discussion of item 32 and recognize Ms. Goldberg.
Yes, I'd like to move reconsideration of the airport permits at LAX.
Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 eyes.
The matter is once again before us.
I'd like to move that we approve the permits for all of the terminal and all of the airlines at all the terminals at LAX.
Okay, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 eyes.
All
And
right, and
request
that
that
will
it remain here and
sit waiting until they fix the problem.
yes, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
All right, that's attended to. Now, Mr. Holden, item 32. You called it special?
Yes, Madam
Ms. Chick said
President.
she reassured you. Did she reassure you?
Right now, but we took an action on 1, 2, and 3 here, which says council action, administrative steps necessary to eliminate the payroll expense. Now, if we're going to ask them to do that, city attorney, then why, and that's the reason why we want to ask them to do that. First of all, yeah.
Well, I'll give you my explanation, and I see Mr. Carey's coming to my
We got to make
rescue.
sure that we have if it's a good idea,
It is a good
then we got
idea.
to ask them. Then I'd like to know why it's a good idea. And then the budgetary implementations of eliminating the payroll expense tax, what that's going to do to the budget.
Right, that's what I'm asking.
Well, that could come later. But the item 1 is the most significant one. Then, of course, the option for making up the revenue loss. I can understand that also, going to committee and coming back and saying, it's going to be revenue loss, now how are we going to make it up? And if we can't make it up, then we shouldn't do it, or we should do it. Okay, fine, but 1 is the one I'm interested in. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Carey.
Make sure.
Okay.
Basically, the payroll expense tax was enacted several years ago to do one thing. It was to capture businesses who are constitutionally exempt from paying the business tax. They can pay a payroll expense tax. So the City of Los Angeles enacted a payroll expense tax, which basically covers all businesses. It is capped by the business tax payment, except for those businesses that are constitutionally exempt. We now have a lawsuit similar to General Motors that argues that this is an unconstitutional tax scheme, and our liability is several $1 million. If we were to repeal the payroll expense tax prior to December 31st of this year, it would limit our liability. The revenue loss, ignoring the lawsuits, is relatively small because those businesses, most businesses would continue to pay the business tax because they would not be constitutionally exempt from paying the business tax. It's just how you categorize the payment that you actually make. Is it a business tax or is it a payroll expense tax? But the tax paid is always capped by the business tax. So in this case, the question is, a couple of questions. Do we believe we can win the litigation? Yes or no? And if we think we're in jeopardy, then probably the most prudent course would be to repeal the payroll expense tax, limit your liability into the future. There would be a revenue loss, ignoring the lawsuit, Mr. Holden, ignoring how much we're exposed on that issue in terms of the back tax. You would also probably theoretically protect the business taxing scheme as well. So I think at this point, Councilwoman Chick is simply asking for a thorough analysis of all the options facing the city. We need to take some action or no action, but we need to take it during this calendar year if we're going to repeal the payroll expense tax for the sole purpose of limiting our future liability.
And we certainly ought to know what we're doing before we take the action.
I would never suggest that.
Why is it yet? No, it's the wrong season, Hal. Okay. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, that's approved. Thank you, Mr.
Madam
Barrett.
President, I was in the back with Mr. Galpin. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you were right here while
No,
he
no,
answered
not
your
in this
question, and we just took
No,
the
no, no,
vote.
fine. I'm an aye vote on this.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah,
But I was
I got
asking
you.
about item 35. If I can get reconsideration for the purpose of discussing it, I'd like to do that, Madam Chair. It's essential.
Item 35. We actually had a discussion, Mr.
No, no,
Holden.
we held
Mr.
it over
Hernandez, yeah, Mr. Hernandez, today we had a discussion. We did, honest.
Well, I was taking... It was
Well,
a short
whose fault
discuss-
is that?
It was a short discussion, obviously.
It was because Mr. Hernandez explained that he had forgotten to do one piece of division in his arithmetic, and he felt that it was now, when he figured it out, it was $2.35 a foot, and so he therefore thought it was a reasonable proposal for Hollywood. Believe me, Mr. Holden, we had this conversation. Okay, next item.
Items number 34 and 38 are closed session items. Do you wish to have those remain on the desk?
Yes, do we have anything else on the desk?
Now is the time for public
Oh,
comment.
right, okay, we don't have any cards. Hold on, we don't have... Hold on. Stay calm, stay calm. We're not done yet. Just hold it in for another few minutes. All right, there are no cards for public comment, therefore the public comment period is closed, and we will now move to the closed sessions, yes?
Motions for posting and referral.
Well, let's do that while we're clearing the room. Oops, now we're having a card. We just closed it. Is that for public comment? All right. Is there any objection to reopening public comment and hearing from this gentleman? Yeah. Okay. We'll do it. We're going to reopen public comment. Yes, sit tight. How many have you got there? Just one?
Yes.
Okay, let me call his name. The Campos family, please come forward. We're going to have, since there's only one speaker, we're going to have a shorter public comment period. Mr. Campos? Now is the time to speak if you do want to speak. Go
Yes,
ahead.
my name is Joe Campos. I'm here for the case, REAP case 2924. And we have this, if you could, we have an appointment here by the City of Los Angeles to be here present for the final approval. And we have this appointment to be here. And we heard already from the some of the people in the REAP program, they already approved us into the REAP program without our approval, which is today.
Let me suggest that, I understand what your problem is. Let me suggest that we ask somebody from staff to come over and work with you and try to
Yeah, they
figure
already
that out
have.
before.
And because we have the confirmation letter to be present here to defend our case that we do not belong in the REAP program because we are a family-owned 3-unit rental place that family owned and lived in by the family members. We do not are not included in this REAP program, and so we have reached this final stage of final approval, which this is the final appeal. We've already appealed it up the ladder, and they gave us this final one. And now we've heard that Friday they approved us into it without our consent because we have this letter stating that we will be here present to make our case, that we are family-owned, we all live in the units, in the 3 units, and we do not belong in a REIT. But they told us we already are in the...
Okay, let me see if I can help you with this. First of all, the landlord does not have the choice about whether to participate in REAP. The tenant, it's a voluntary program for the tenants. What we've been told by the department is that they sent you 2 different notices, and I will certainly grant you they should not have done that.
We never received it. We only received this one.
All right. Well, the best I can do for you is to refer the matter to Mrs. Walters' office, and you said you've already talked with them.
Madam Chair.
Mrs. Walters.
Madam President.
Go ahead.
My staff did speak with this gentleman, and you know, the way folks get into REAP is that somebody complains. So it may be family living there, but there was a complaint that the department followed up on. And the department indicates that they sent 2 notices, and I feel confident that they did. The tenants have agreed to pay their money into REAP. So the next thing that needs to be done is for the party to begin to repair his property.
No, there are no, the sons are the tenants. There was never no complaint. There was building and safety damages on the property. That's apart from being on the REAP program. The building and safety is a building codes. It's something to do with their department. We are in the REAP program, which we are excluded because we are family-owned units.
But what? Oh, I see what you mean.
Yes,
okay.
I know.
All right.
We have the
okay.
bylaws here from the REAP program.
We're not. Look, we're not going to resolve this back and forth right here on the floor. But I see what your problem is.
Yes.
Let us. Once again, I'm going to have to refer you to staff to try to resolve this problem. But I think I'm beginning to understand what the misunderstanding is.
Family-owned units.
So I got it. But I don't think that. I think if it's a certain number of units, it doesn't matter if it's family-owned. And as Mrs. Walters just explained, somebody must have complained.
No, there was no complaint. It's all family
then
owned.
they wouldn't have known about it if somebody hadn't complained.
Building and safety
But
because
look,
of
the best I can do for you, sir,
Yeah.
is we're not going to resolve this on the council floor
Yes, I
today.
know, I understand that.
So I'd like to refer you to staff. I'd like
Okay,
to try to get
okay.
you some help to figure this out.
Okay, thank you very much.
And you've made your point.
Okay,
so
thank you very much.
So that closes the public comment period, and we are ready to go into executive session. So I have to ask those of you who are not part of the executive session to absent yourselves. While we are clearing the room for executive session, we will clear the desk as well.
Motions for posting and referral?
Motions for posting and referral are approved.
Desk is clear.
All right, the desk is clear, and soon the room will be clear, and we can do our 2 executive session items. Next item.
Item number 34A, request that the city attorney be authorized to expend $125,000 in settlement of case.
Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes, 1 no.
That's approved. Next.
Item 34B, a request that this matter be settled for $945,000 as amended.
Okay, this is the one we just talked about. Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes, 1 no.
Okay, that's approved.
And item number 38, request that that matter be settled for $767,000.
Open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes, 1 no.
Okay, that's approved.
The desk is
And
clear.
The desk is clear. Do we have any adjourning motions? All right, everybody please rise for adjourning motions. Mr. Burnson.
Members of the council, I'd ask that we adjourn in memory of Bessie Bogle, who passed away on July 17th in Dubois, Pennsylvania. She's the aunt of Nancy Butcher, who is Ron Butcher's wife. And so I'd ask that we adjourn her memory.
Okay, anybody else? Mr. Savornich.
that we adjourn in memory of Rose Pollock, who recently passed away. She was a longtime resident of the community of San Pedro and is left by a lovely family, including her daughter Carmela, numerous grandchildren, nieces, and nephews, and I will get the clerk the pertinent information.
Call the roll. We are adjourned. Thank you. See you on Friday.